so excited for my next guest, Courtney Grimes with Renewed, an organization which, if people don't already know about Renewed, they need to know about Renewed. And Courtney here, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Okay, we're talking about eating disorders, which are so prevalent among young women and men. We can't exclude young guys and guys. But I know that you got involved with this, I think, out of a personal experience. Can you share that with us, Courtney?
Sure. I developed an eating disorder in my late teens and was sick for the better part of 7 or 8 years. My weight dropped drastically. Friends and family were worried, but they had no idea what to do. It all sort of came to a head. I was diagnosed with an eating disorder about 90 days before my heart was about to stop.
Was that critical?
It was that critical. And I, as a sufferer of this illness, had no idea what I was doing to my body. I thought I was just being healthy with my eating, healthy with my exercise, but it was a very slow, very elegant form of suicide.
A slow and elegant form.
Very
I've never heard anybody
elegant.
Describe it that way.
Yes, anorexia nervosa sadly has been called the most elegant form of suicide. As women especially become more and more slender, more and more thin, we receive, especially in American culture, so much positive praise and feedback. Oh, you look so good. Oh, you're so disciplined. And what are you doing? Things like that. So it's motivation to keep going, keep going, keep going.
And so many of the young women we see on Instagram that have huge followings, the fashion, which promotes that kind of body image. Isn't it a psychological, there's a big psychological component to this illness?
Absolutely. Eating disorders are very complex, multi-layered mental illnesses. They affect people psychologically, emotionally, physically, spiritually, socially. Eating disorders tend to take and take and take, and they don't stop until they take your life.
What are some of the symptoms then and the signs? So how did your family know, besides you getting so obviously rail thin?
Sure. For my specific eating disorder, I was able, sadly, to hide it for a long time. And that's what makes noticing symptoms of this illness and others very difficult. We become very protective of our illness, and we want to make sure that nothing and nobody can take it from us. So a lot of times eating disorders involve a lot of very secretive types of behavior, a lot of dishonesty. We will lie, cheat, and steal to cover up what we're doing so that we can keep doing it. Eating disorders are process addictions, so that there's a large addictive piece to this mental illness. Physical signs would be hair loss. A lot of times women will start losing their hair. Nails will become very brittle. Skin will become very yellow and kind of sallow. You can see really sort of dark, wrung out circles under people's eyes. Any type of rapid weight gain, rapid weight loss, that's absolutely a sign that something has happened. Immediate trips, frequent trips to the bathroom. Right after meals and eating, things like that.
Because some people, if they have this disorder, one of the disorders, they're causing themselves to either vomit or taking laxatives, right?
That's right, that's right. For bulimia nervosa, it's defined as a cycle of binging and purging.
Yes.
And what's tricky is something that a lot of people don't know. Purging is not always necessarily induced vomiting. A lot of times purging can be laxative abuse or exercise addiction, things like that. There's different ways to purge, but at the end of the day, bulimia becomes a zero-sum game. Anything that I took into my body, I must expend.
There is a real issue with a distorted body image, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you used to look in the mirror, you probably thought you were fat and you were 100 pounds or something.
Absolutely,
is that part of it?
Absolutely. I was literally on death's door and absolutely hated what I saw in the mirror. I couldn't look at it. I was so ashamed of this body. I thought that I was absolutely enormous and I was embarrassed to be in public. And what happens with body dysmorphia is mental illnesses such as eating disorders are due to malnutrition of the brain. So if this organ is not functioning properly, it can't process information properly. it can't do its job properly. Therefore, all the data coming in the senses gets jumbled and distorted and lost. So the visual images you see are not what everybody else sees.
That really paints a clear picture, that description. How did you get help, and how can people get help? Let's get to that.
Oh, my best friend called me at work one day, and she was crying, and she said, I'm really, really worried about you, and I've made you a doctor's appointment. And she forced me to go to the hospital.
Made you go.
She made me go. And she said, I know this might make you very angry at me, but I would rather have you alive and angry at me than not have you around at all.
What a friend.
What a friend.
Saved your life.
She sure did.
So at Renewed, what are you doing? What is the organization doing?
Renewed is a beautiful organization. We're the only one like it in the Southeast. It's a nonprofit dedicated to eating disorder referral and supplemental care, meaning that if you Google eating disorders Nashville, we will come up. A lot of calls will come in from really anxious, very scared parents, boyfriends, roommates, spouses, children. Something's wrong with my mom, something's wrong with my girlfriend, something's wrong with my sister, and I don't know what it is. And they'll start naming off behaviors that they've noticed. They're skipping meals, and they don't come out with me anymore, and they're very isolative, and they're angry all the time, and I never see her eat. Things like this. I think she might have an eating disorder. I have no idea what that is. I don't even know what to do. This is who you call. You call Renewed. I take these calls. My #1 job as clinical director for this organization is to take all of these individuals and find the perfect resources for them, whether it's a psychotherapist, a nutritionist, a program, a sponsor, anything that they need to get well.
So you're talking about it's treating the body and the mind.
Has to
and
be.
probably the soul too,
Has
right?
to be,
the
yes,
whole
absolutely.
integrated.
Very holistic.
Wow, you are so impassioned. I mean, I see that, and you've been doing this for a while.
Yes.
Do you feel like working in this space has helped you stay healthy too?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Is it an ongoing thing?
It is an ongoing thing, and I will say that the more conversations that I have with folks who are struggling, the more I'm reminded of my gratitude for those who helped me.
Gratitude has so much to do with healing, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Courtney, thank you. This was so enlightening.
Absolutely.
I really did not know much about the organization, but I went online and I saw the video too, which was fabulous. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with more after this.